Hi and welcome to the Playwork Essentials video series. This is a partnership between Play Wales and Asesu Cymru Adult Learning Wales, and I'm your Playwork tutor Martin. So this video is going to look at dynamic risk benefit assessment. So that is a formal way of assessing risk where we balance the risk of harm with the developmental benefit and well-being of the child of any given activity. Now, we all use dynamic risk benefit assessment in all aspects of our life every day. It's those judgments we make when we're cooking the tea, or when we're going to the shops, or when we're crossing the road. But in this video, we're going to explore how it is a valid means for play workers to use and how important it is when it comes to facilitating children's play. So alongside written risk benefit assessment, dynamic risk benefit assessment is a valid way of managing unforeseen risks when children are playing. Dynamic risk assessment is even used by the emergency services. The fire service use dynamic risk assessment as a way of managing very dynamic situations. So Playwork is not the only place that is using dynamic risk benefit assessment. And it's written into our principles. So Playwork Principle 8 talks about dynamic risk benefit assessment and says that play workers choose an intervention style that enables children and young people to extend their play, and says that all play worker intervention must balance risk with the developmental well-being of children. So how do we actually do it? Well, I've got this scales device here to help demonstrate it. So if we imagine we're observing children playing, and maybe a child is climbing a tree. So first of all we start to think about, okay, maybe I'm not feeling entirely comfortable with this. What might the things we are concerned about, the sort of risks, the injuries that children might receive? Well, they might get bumps and scrapes, they may fall, and that could lead to a head injury or broken bones, they could impale themselves on something. Lower level, they might get splinters, they could poke an eye. So there's a few of the sort of common injuries, hazards we may be thinking about. Now, on the other hand, we then start to think about, well, what are the benefits to that child? Yes, there are some real risks, but they're having fun. Is it building their self-esteem? How are we getting this information as well? Is what the child is actually saying to us they're having a good time? They might be building their physical strength, they're learning about limits, they're getting up high, so they're getting a new perspective. For some children, it may be about getting away from it all into solitude. For other children, it could be about a sense of bonding and actually building relationships with your friends, and certainly about building a sense of achievement. And what we start to see here is actually we've found more benefits than we did risks, and the benefits have actually started to outweigh the risks. And at its simplest, that is what dynamic risk benefit assessment is about. It's about thinking about, in any given situation, what risks and what is the likelihood of harm, and what benefits are children getting from that given activity. And the reality is, this is in a fairly constant state of flux. But we should be using this as a way of thinking about what we're seeing when children are playing, but also then thinking about what we're doing with our dynamic risk benefit assessments, because we should be using it to inform the training that we access for staff. We should be using dynamic risk benefit assessment to update and inform our written risk assessments. And also using it to think about what policies and procedures do we need to have in place in our particular setting. Also, dynamic risk benefit assessment is not an approach that's solely about play work. It is an approach that is recognised and valid for anybody working with children. The Health and Safety Executive have said that it's a valid form of risk management, and there is a high-level statement which will be linked in the video description below that came out from Health and Safety Executive in 2012. And in Wales, Welsh Government's statutory guidance to local authorities says that health and safety policies should be embracing the concept of risk benefit assessment. So that is dynamic risk benefit assessment, a really important skill for all play workers to use in their practice and to reflect upon when working with children. It can be used as a valid control measure to help us with managing risks, and it should be being used to inform our written risk assessments, our policies and procedures and staff training. Risk benefit assessment is an approach, as I've said, that is supported by the Health and Safety Executive and by Welsh Government, and it's really, really important that we use dynamic risk benefit assessment alongside our reflective practice to think about how we manage risks as a team and use dynamic risk assessment to inform our written assessments. So I hope you've enjoyed that video. For more information on risk benefit assessment, check the links in the description below. And if you want to see any more of our Playwork Essentials videos, please like and follow our social media channels. Thanks for watching.